Friends, if you want to see our previous videos and all videos, then click the channel name or picture below the video. Then go to the video or playlist option. This is Bori Critical Mahabharat book section 10, Baka Parva. Please press the red subscribe option and press the bell icon for my latest video updates. Chapter 145. Janmejaya said, O best of those who are born twice, what did the Maharatha Pandavas, the sons of Kunti, do after going to Ekchakra? Besampayana said, after going to Ekchakra, the Maharatha Pandavas, the sons of Kunti, lived in a Brahmana's house for a short while, O king of the world. Then they begged for alms. They saw many beautiful woods, distant parts of the earth, countries, rivers, and lakes. Because of their many qualities, they became the favorites of the citizens. Every night they handed over their alms to Kunti. She divided it into parts, and each separately ate his share. The valorous ones, the scourger of foes, and their mother ate half. The immensely powerful Bhima ate the other half entirely. O best of the Bharata lineage, O king, those great souled ones lived there like that, and a great deal of time passed. One day, when the bulls of the Bharata lineage had gone out begging, Bhimsena was at home with Pritha, means Kunti, for company. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, then Kunti heard a great uproar in the Brahmana's house, terrible sounds of lamentations, O king, because of her compassion and goodness. The lady could not bear the sight of that weeping and lamenting. Feeling sorry, the virtuous Pritha then spoke to Bhima in compassionate words, O son, unknown to the sons of Dhritarashtra, we have lived happily in this Brahmana's house, respected and treated well by him. O son, I have always thought about what can be good for the Brahmana and what I can do to please him. At those who happily live in others' houses should. He is truly a man who returns what is received, and such an act is never destroyed. One should do more good than others do to one. Without a doubt, this Brahmana has fallen into a grief. If we can be of any help to him, then will be a good deed. Bhima said, let us find out what the distress is and how it has arisen. Having learned it, I shall try to remove it, no matter how difficult it will be. O ruler of the world, when those two were thus conversing, they heard a pitiful wail from the Brahmana and his wife. Like Surabhi dashes at her tethered calf, Kunti hurried towards the inner quarters of the great soul Brahmana. She saw there the Brahmana, his wife, his son, and his daughter, their faces distorted with grief. The Brahmana said, Cursed be this worldly life without meaning, and like the substance of fire, its root is unhappiness, slavery to others, and it is based on great sorrow. To live means to suffer great misery, to live means to suffer a great fever. Without a doubt, those who live have to choose between evils. The Atma may be one, but one has to serve Dharma, Artha, and Kama. The simultaneousness pursuit of these deeds to great misery. Some day that salvation is the greatest object, but it can never be reached. The acquisition of artha is hell. Its desire creates misery. Great is unhappiness for those who desire wealth, greater for those who have acquired it. There is attachment to the acquired wealth, and when it is lost, unhappiness is greater. I do not see any way of escaping from this danger unless I run away with my wife and son to a healthier place. O Brahmani, I have told you before that we should go to a place that is safe, but you didn't listen to my words then. O foolish woman, when I repeatedly asked you, said, I was born here, I grew old here, this is my father's house, your father is now dead, and your old mother died a long time ago, your relatives are also dead. Why was there the desire to live here? You didn't listen to my words as a result of affection towards your relatives. We are now faced with the terrible misery that comes from losing a relative. How can I bear it? Perhaps the time has come for my own death. I cannot live like a cruel one after abandoning one of my own relatives. Always giving, you have been my companion in all virtuous acts. You are like a mother to me. The gods have you to me as a friend. You have been my chief support. My father and mother gave you to me as a partner in my duties as a householder. I choose you in accordance with the law. I married you in accordance with the mantras. You were born into a good family. You have a good nature. You are the mother of my children. You have always been faithful to me. You are uh, caste and have never harmed anyone. You have always been constant in your vows. I cannot give up my wife in order to save my own life. How can I sacrifice my daughter? She is still a child, not yet an adult, and without any signs of coming of age. The great soul creator gave her to me in trust so that I could find her a husband. Through her, together with my ancestors, I will be able to attain worlds reached by those who have sons through their daughters. How can I give up a daughter I have feathered myself? Some men think that a father loves a son more than a daughter, nor I. I love them equally. How can I give up this innocent girl? On her are based my continuity and the worlds that bring eternal bliss. If I sacrifice myself and go to the other world, I will still have to repent. Abandoned by me, they will not be able to live. To give up any one of these will be a cruel act condemned by those who are learned. But if I sacrifice myself, they will also die without me. Great distress has befallen me. I do not know how to escape. I am cursed. What path will I and my relatives follow? It is better that I should die with all of them. I cannot live. The Brahmani said, you must not grieve like a common person for someone who is as learned as you. This is not the time to grieve. All men must certainly come to an end. If someone is certain, one should not grieve over it. A man desires a wife, a son, and a daughter for his own sake. Therefore, since you have great learning, abandon this grief. I shall go there myself. It is the supreme and eternal duty of women in this world that they should give up their lives for the welfare of their husbands. Done by me, such an act will bring you happiness. I will also bring me eternal fame in this world and the hereafter. What I have told you is the highest dharma. Through this, it will perceptibly bring you artha and dharma. You have already obtained from me the purpose of which a man acquires a wife, a daughter, and a son. Through this, I have been freed from the debt I owe you. You are capable of supporting and protecting your children. I cannot protect and support the children as you can. You have given me all that I desire and protected me from all danger. If I am abandoned by you, how can these young children and I survive? How can an unprotected widow with two young children support them both? While treading a path of virtue. How can I protect our daughter when she is wooed by arrogant and selfish suitors who are unworthy of an alliance with you? Like birds grabbing a lump of meat thrown on the ground, all men crave women without their husbands. O best of the twice born, solicited by evil hearted ones, I might waver and might not be able to stick to the path of virtue. How can I ensure that this only daughter of the lineage, young and innocent, walks along the path trodden by her forefathers? How can I teach this young boy, featherless and without a preceptor, every desirable quality so as to make him as learned in virtue as you? When I am in this state, those who are unworthy will overcome me and demand this unprotected girl, like Shudras craving to hear the Vedas. If I refuse to give her, endowed with all qualities and with your blood, they may forcibly carry her away, like crows after sacrificial offerings when they see a son who is unlike you and your daughter under the control of those who are unworthy. I will be despised in the words, O Brahmana. I do not know what will happen to me under the control of the arrogant, but there is no doubt that I shall die. There is no doubt that these young children, deprived of you and of me, will perish like fish when the water dries up. There is no doubt that without you, all three of us will perish in this way. Therefore, you should sacrifice me, O Brahmana. Those who are learned in Dharma have said that the supreme salvation of women is to go on the last journey before their husband and not remain under the protection of their sons. For you, I am all ready to give up this son and this daughter, my relatives and my life. To be always engaged in what pleases her husband is a greater duty for a woman than sacrifices, austerities, vows, and donation of alms. Thus, the act I wish to perform is in conformity with the supreme dharma. It is for the welfare of you and of the lineage. The virtuous say that objects of desire, children, possessions, and friends, even the wife, are cherished to rescue oneself in a time of distress. O you who have extended your lineage, the wise ones have said that if all one's relations are placed on one side of the scale, they do not equal oneself on the other side. My Lord, thus do through me what has to be done. Save yourself by sacrificing me, giving me permission, and protect my children in deciding the part of virtue for men. Those who are learned in Dharma have said that woman should never be killed, and the Rakshasas also know Dharma. Therefore, he may not kill me. It is certain that he will kill a man, but it is doubtful that he will kill a woman. O you who are learned in Dharma, therefore you should let me go. I have enjoyed my life. I have enjoyed great happiness. I have trodden a path of Dharma. Through you I have born beloved children. I will not grieve if I have to die. I have born a son and I have grown old. I have always desired to do that which pleases you, counting all my blessings. I have arrived at my decision, O revered one. You can take another wife after you have sacrificed me. You will then again be able to tread the path of Dharma. O virtuous man, to have more than one wife is not a sin among men, but it is a grave sin for a woman to have another husband after the first. Having considered all this and realizing that your self sacrifice must be condemned today, without any delay, save yourself, your lineage, and these two children through me. Beshampana said, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, on hearing her words, her husband embraced her. Stricken with grief, he shed copious tears along with his wife. Next chapter, Bismpana said, when the daughter heard these words of her parents, who were extremely sorrowful, she was overcome with grief and spoke to them, why are you lamenting so grievously? Why are you weeping as if you have no one to protect you? Now listen to what I have to say. On hearing my words, do what is proper. There is no doubt that Dharma dictates that I have to be sacrificed at some time. Since I have to be abandoned in any case, abandon me now and save everyone through me alone. That is the reason man desires children, so that they can be saved. That time has come. Use me as a boat and save yourselves. A child saves everywhere in this world and in the next. It is because a child saves everywhere that the learned know a child by the name of Putra. My grandfathers have always desired to have daughters, sons through me. Now I shall yourself save them by saving my father's life. My brother is very young. There is no doubt that he will soon perish after you have left this world. When my father has gone to heaven and my younger brother has perished, the funeral cakes offered to the ancestors will come to an end, and that act will displease them. Having been abandoned by my father, my mother, and my brother, I shall descend from misery to misery and will finally perish in great distress. There is no doubt that if you are healthy and can save yourself, my mother and your child brother and my child brother and our lineage, the practice of offering funeral cakes will continue. The son is one's own self, the wife is one's friend, the daughter is the cause of suffering. Save yourself from that cause of suffering. Set me on the path of Dharma. O Father, without you, I will be unprotected and a wretched girl, going everywhere and whenever, always miserable. Therefore, I shall save my lineage and I shall acquire the merit that this difficult act brings. O best of the twice born, if you abandon me and go there, I will be greatly oppressed. Therefore, be kind to me, O good Father, abandon me, who am to be abandoned eventually. Save yourself for my sake, for the sake of Dharma, and for the sake of your lineage. There should not be any delay in performing the inhabitable. By offering them water, you will do that which is good. What can be more painful to us than you ascending to heaven and our roaming like dogs begging food from others? But if you are saved from this calamity with your relatives and are healthy, I shall be very happy in the immortal world. When they heard her piteous lamentation, all three, the father, the mother, and the daughter, began to weep. Then, on seeing all of them cry, their young son uttered these mumbling words, his eyes wide open, O father, O mother, and you too, O sister, do not cry. Saying this, he smilingly came to each of them, picking up a blade of grass. He again said happily, I will kill the man eating Rakshasa with this. Through they were overcome with grief, hearing the mumbling words of the child, they were cheered up. Knowing that this was the right time, Kunti went to them and thus spoke like ambrosia reviving the dead. Next, Kunti said, I wish to learn exactly from you the reason for this grief. On learning it, I will remove the cause from you, if it can be removed. The Brahmana said, O lady blessed with austerities, what you have said is worthy of righteous ones, but removal of this grief is beyond humans. Not far from this town lives a Rakshasa named Baka. That immensely powerful one is the lord of this town and this country. that evil-minded man-eater, chief among asuras, and with the power of Rakshasas ruled over and protects this town, this country, and this region, sustained through human flesh. Thus, protected by him, we have no fear from any encirclement by enemies or any living beings, but his stipend has been fixed to a supply of food, a cartload of rice, two buffaloes, and the human who takes this to him. One after another, all the people provides him with food after intervals of many years. This difficult task comes to a particular man, and it is impossible to escape. If men ever try to escape their turn, the Rakshasa eats them up with their wives and children. The king lives in a place known as Vitrakya Griha, but he makes no efforts to free his subjects from this danger for good. We deserve all of this because we live in continued harassment in the kingdom of a weak and incompetent king. Brahmanas are free to live as they wish on anyone's land. They base themselves on their qualities and, like birds, freely go where they will. It is said that first one should find a king, then a wife, and then riches boy. Acquiring all three, one can maintain one's relatives and one's sons, but is acquiring these three, I have chosen the wrong order. Therefore, having fallen into this danger, I am suffering great grief. It is now my turn and it will destroy my family. I shall have to provide food and a man as stipend. I don't have the riches to purchase a man, nor am I able to give up someone who is dear to me. I do not see any means of saving myself from that Rakshasa. I am immersed in this great ocean of grief from which no escape seems possible today. I will go to that Rakshasa with my entire family so that the evil one can eat all of us together. Next chapter 149. Kunti said, do not grieve because of this fear. I see a means through which you can escape from that Rakshasa. You have an only son who is a child and an only daughter who is engaged in austerities. It does not seem right to me that they, you or your wife, should go there. O Brahmana, I have 5 sons. One of them will go, taking on your behalf of the offspring to that evil Rakshasa, taking on your behalf the offerings to that evil Rakshasa. The Brahmana said, in order to live, I can never do this. For the sake of saving my own life, I cannot cause the death of a Brahmana and a guest. Even those who are of low birth and sinful refuse to do this. One should sacrifice oneself and one's children for the sake for the Brahmana. I consider this principle to be the best for me and I would like to follow it. Between the death of a Brahmana and my own, it seems to me that the latter is better. There is no salvation from the great sin of killing a Brahmana. Even if I do it without the right frame of mind, it is better for me to sacrifice myself. O fortunate lady, in sacrificing myself, I will not commit the crime of self destruction because there is no sin if someone else does the killing. But if I deliberately kill a Brahmana, I will commit a cruel and vile act from which there is no means of atonement. The learned have said that the sacrifice of someone who has come to your house or has sought your protection or the killing of a supplicant are cruel and sinful deeds. Great souled ones learned in principles that should be followed at times of distress, have earlier said that one should never commit cruel deeds capable of censure. It is best for me that I should perish today with my wife than that I should ever cause the killing of a Brahmana. Kunti said, O Brahmana, it is also my firm view that Brahmanas must always be protected. If I had 100 sons, I would not love any one of them less. But this Rakshasa will not be able to kill my son. My son is full of energy, valorous, and has knowledge of the mantras. He will deliver all that food to the Rakshasa, but it is my firm conviction that he will be able to save himself earlier. I have myself seen that powerful and gigantic Rakshasas have fought with that brave one and have been killed one after another, O Brahmana, but do not reveal this to anyone through any means, for people curious and wishing to learn will trouble my sons. The learned have said that if my son parts with this knowledge without the permission of his preceptor, the receiver will not gain from it. Besampana said, hearing these words of Pritha, the Brahmana and his wife were very happy and agreed to her words, which were like ambrosia. Then Kunti and the Brahmana went to Anila's sons and said, do this, so shall it be, was his reply. Beshampana said, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, Bhima said that he would do it before all the Pandavas returned there after collecting their arms. Looking at this appearance, Pandu's son Yudhishthira gazed and sitting down with his mother alone and privately asked her, what is the exploit that the immensely powerful Bhima wished to undertake? Is it something he wished to do on his own, or is it something you have committed? Kunti replied, on my instruction, the squatter of enemies will perform this great task for the sake of the Brahmana and in order to save this town. Yudhishthira said, what have you done in your extreme rashness? This is a difficult task. The learned have certainly never praised the sacrifice of one's own son. Why do you wish to sacrifice your own son for the sake of someone else's? You have performed an act of abandoning your son. This is not approved by the worlds and by the Vedas. Through the strength of his arms, all of us sleep in peace and hope to recover the kingdom that the evil ones have deprived us of. It is because of his infinite powers that Duryodhana, Shakuni, and all the others spent sleepless nights of worry. Through his valor, we escaped from the burning of the house of Lak and other dangers when Purochana was killed. It is through dependence on his valor that we believe that we have already acquired this earth and its riches and have killed Dhritarashtra's sons. What come to your mind that you deliberately decided to sacrifice him? Have you lost your senses and your intelligence because of the miseries? Kunti said, O Yudhishthira, you need not lament over Brikodara Bhima. I did not take my decision because of the weakness of my intelligence. O son, we have lived happily in the house of this Brahmana. O son, I wish to regard this as our compensation. A man is true to the extent he recognizes a good deed. Having witnessed Bhima's valor in the house of Lak and in the killing of Hidimba, I have great confidence in Brikodara Bhima. The strength in Bhima's arm is as much as that in 10,000 elephants. It is because of this that he was able to carry us as heavy as elephants from Varnavata. There has been no one nor will there be anyone as strong as Brikodara in battle. He is the equal of the best, the wielder of the Vajra himself. Earlier, as soon as he was born, he fell from my lap on a mountain. Through the hardness of his body, he shattered the rock into pieces. O Pandava, from that day I have known Bhima's strength, and remembering it, I wish to repay the Brahmana. I have not done this from folly, delusion, or desire from gain. I have consciously desired to perform this act because it is what Dharma requires. O Yudhishthira, two objectives will be attained in this way. We will repay the Brahmana for his lodging us, and we will obtain great righteous merit. I have heard that a Kshatriya who helps a Brahmana in any way obtains the fortunate worlds after that. O Kshatriya who saves the life of another Kshatriya obtain great fame in this world and the next. A Kshatriya who helps a Vaishya on this earth is certainly loved by the subjects in all the worlds. A king who feeds a Shudra who comes to him for protection is reborn, is a wealthy family in his next life, and is revered by other kings. O descendant of the Guru lineage, earlier the illustrious and extremely wise Lord Vyasa told me this. That is why I went to act in this way. Yudhishthira said, O mother, what you have intelligently decided to do, driven by compassion for the poor Brahmana, is indeed right. It is certain that Bhima will kill the man-eater and return alive, but the Brahmana must carefully be told that he must restrain himself so that the inhabitants of this town do not find out. Next chapter, Vishnupada said, thereafter, when night had passed, Pandava Bhimsena took the food with him and left for the place where the man-eater lived. Reaching the forest where the Rakshasa lived, the immensely strong Pandava began to eat the food himself and called out to the Rakshasa by name. Then, on hearing Bhima's word, the Rakshasa was greatly enraged and come to where Bhima was. His body was huge and his speed was swift. As if he was breaking up the ground, his forehead was furrowed into three lines and he bit his lips. On seeing Bhimsena eating the food, the Rakshasa dilated his eyes and angrily said, Who are you, stupid one, who dares to eat these offerings meant for me, that too in front of my own eyes? Do you wish to go to the land of the dead? O descendant of the Bharata lineage, on hearing this, Bhimsena began to laugh. Ignoring the Rakshasa, he turned his head away and continued to eat. Uttering a terrible roar and raising both arms high, the man-eater rushed at Bhimsena with the intention of killing him. Even then, Pandava Bhikadara, the killer of enemy warriors, ignored the Rakshasa. Casting only a glance, he went on eating. Greatly enraged, the Rakshasa struck a mighty blow with both his hands on the back of Kunti's son Bhima. Though Bhima was powerfully struck by those arms, he did not even look up and continued to eat. Thereupon the Rakshasa became even more enraged. He uprooted a tree and powerfully dashed at Bhima so as to strike him again. Bhima, bull among men and immensely strong, slowly finished eating all the food. He wished himself and then cheerfully stood up to fight. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, the valorous Bhima laughingly catched the tree that had been angrily hurled in his left hand. Then that powerful one hurled many other trees at Bhimsena, and the Pandava Bhima also hurled many at him. O great king, the terrible and great fight between Baka and the Pandava with trees went out. Denuding the forest of its trees, announcing his name, Baka dashed at the Pandava and grasped the immensely powerful Bhimsena in both his arms. Bhimsena also grasped the Rakshasa in his great arms and began to violently drag the swift and strong one. Dragged by Bhima and also dragging the Pandava, the man-eater was gradually overcome by great fatigue. The earth, shocked because of their violent movements, giant trees that stood there were shattered into pieces. O bull among the Bharata lineage, on seeing that Rakshasa fading away, Brikodara pressed him down on the ground and began to strike him with his arms, powerfully pushing the middle of his back down with one knee. The Pandava grabbed his neck with his right hand and his loincloth with the left, and then ripped the Rakshasa into two with great force. O ruler of the earth, uttering a terrible roar, the fearsome Rakshasa was torn into two by Bhima and vomited blood. Besampana said, O king, frightened by that noise, the Rakshasa's relatives and their attendants come out of their house. On seeing them terrified and bereft for reason, the powerful Bhima, supreme among those who wield arms, pacified them and made them promise, you shall never do violence to humans here. Those who perform violence will quickly die the same way. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, on hearing these words, the Rakshasas gave the desired promise and accepted the terms. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, from that day, the Rakshasas there were friendly and behaved peacefully when they were sighted in town by the inhabitants of that town. Then, unobserved by anyone, Bhima took the dead man-eater and placing him at one of the gates, he then went away. After killing him, Bhima returned to the Brahmana's house and described in detail to the king all that had happened. The next morning, the inhabitants of the town came out and saw the Rakshasa lying dead on the ground, his body wet with blood, horrible and spread out, as huge as the peak of a mountain. They went to Ekchakra and spread the news throughout the city. O king, in their thousands, the citizens went there with their wives, old people, and the young to see Baka. They were astonished at the sight of this superhuman feat. O ruler of the earth, they gave offerings of gratitude to the gods. Then they began to calculate whose turn it had been the previous day to supply food. Learning that it was the Brahmana's turn, they went to him and questioned him. Thus, repeatedly asked, the bull among the Brahmanas then protected the Pandavas but told the citizens everything else. When I was ordered to supply the food, I was weeping with my family. When a great soul Brahmana learned in the mantras saw me, he asked me about the cause and learned about the calamity that had befallen the city. That best among Brahmanas then reassured us and smilingly comforted us. He said that he would himself carry the food to the evil hearted one and that we should not be frightened for his sake. After taking the food, he set out for the forest where Baka lived. For the welfare of the worlds, he must have been the one who performed this deed. Thereupon, all the astonished and delighted Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras had a feast in honor of the Brahmana. All the inhabitants of the country came to the city to witness the extraordinary miracle. Pritha's son went to living there. Next, section 11, Chitra Rath Parva.